So, have you ever been in this situation where you just got a scholarship rejection or like interview rejection and all of that? I know that it hurts, but don't let it stop you. So, today I'm going to talk about, life after rejection, or that period, those few minutes or those few days after you have been rejected for a job, rejected for a scholarship, or rejected for even just an admission where you were going to fund yourself for that program. I want you to know that rejection is part of the journey and not the end of the road. And I want you to know that whatever you do after you face that rejection will determine if you're going to be successful in your next endeavor or in your next step that you're going to take. So yes, if you're new here, my name is Tafara, and on this platform we share about opportunities in education, scholarships, and personal growth, and we also share those things that not everyone is ready to open up about. Like, I know that the internet is presenting a much more perfect life than what people are living out there. I would give you how I got accepted and all of that, but I want this space to be and talk about all those negative things that we face during the application process. So as I said, that rejection is not shouldn't stop you from taking the next steps, and it's okay to sometimes sit down and cry and break down and all of that. But what I would encourage you is that you pick yourself up and work on your things again. So even if you ask most of the people that we see out there, even the most successful scholars have faced rejection before. Even all those people we see winning Nobel Prize and all of that, if you listen to their stories, you'd see that probably their ideas were rejected many times than we can imagine. So just take it as something that happens to people, and something that would prepare you for the next step that you're going to take. So the second thing I want to encourage you is that you need to see the rejection as a redirection rather than a failure. All those rejections that we get, have you ever noticed that after you get a rejection and you are probably now trying to apply for another thing that is probably different, or maybe you say, I will try again the same program. Have you also noticed that when we kind of review our things, we actually see, oh, I could have said this better, or I could have done this better, and sometimes it gives you a second chance to correct those things that you thought were okay but were not okay for the reviewers and all of that. So I would like to encourage you to take as a redirection more than a failure. And when you face rejection, the other thing that I really want to stress about is that you need to be able to process your emotions, but don't quit. I think if you have been here on this channel, you have seen me encouraging you that in as much as you face things and all of the stuff, you mustn't stay down. Like I once shared that sometimes I get so frustrated that I just sit down and I just want to cry and I don't know what to do, right? But then after that, I don't say I'm going to stay in those emotions and just sit there. I come back and I try to redo those things, and I try to encourage myself that I should not quit. I should continue pushing and pushing. So you need to give yourself time to process your emotions, but you mustn't quit. In this space, in this small community that I am building, I would like to encourage you that do not hide when you break down emotionally or when you feel like you can't do it. What we don't encourage is staying down, staying crying, staying emotional. So you need to get up and don't quit on that dream that you really want to do. So it's something that I always want to stress about to my friends, to anyone whom I come across with who has faced rejection in applying or who is feeling hopeless when applying for scholarships. And then and the other thing that I would also want to stress, I say that you can be emotional, but don't stay down, don't quit, right? Sometimes some of the rejection, like some of the hope that we had for whatever, either a job, a admission, a scholarship that we would have applied for, some of those the hope that we have kind of determines how deep this thing would affect you. When you put time, hours and hours of preparation and all of that into something, and then it doesn't work out, you are most likely to break down. And then if someone was just applying casually, sometimes they'll just say, oh, yeah, I didn't get it, and then they move on. Depending on the depth of your pain, I don't know if there's something like that, but depending on how grave this thing would have broken you down or something like that, I sometimes advise people to take a short break so that you deal with your emotions, but also don't make the break too long. That's why I said take a short break. And right, for example, when I was applying for some PhD programs, when I was about to conclude my master's, I faced a lot of rejection. You would apply, sometimes you don't even make it to the interview round. They just say you were not fit, you were not something that we were looking for, and you would have looked at it and you're like, well, at least they could have invited me for an interview because I felt like I was fit for this PhD and all of that. And I think during that time, most of the people in my class were getting their PhDs, were getting their jobs. Like everyone was going somewhere. And I felt like I was stuck. I felt like I was not making it to the next, level and all of that. There was a time I took a break. I think I told myself that, you know what, I have applied, I've tried my best, and I took a break. I wasn't going to apply for anything. I was going to sit down and really, consult with God and see like what would be my next step, what should I do, and all of that. And I am really grateful that I took that short break, because I think during that time, because of facing so much rejection, I think I wasn't now critically analyzing some of the positions that were posted. All I wanted was to score that I've applied today. I've applied 2 PhDs today. I've applied 3 PhDs today. I've applied 5 jobs or something like that. So I think I was already spiraling and not really critically thinking about, if the role really fits me. So I was just sending them applications, which I think that actually hurt me more, because I wasn't critically analyzing the requirements and all of that, because all I wanted was a yes. I ended up getting more rejections than I would have gotten if I had taken some time to really reflect and really look at the job post and not look at the numbers of the things I've done and all of that. And I think during that time I was just telling myself, increase the sample size, which I think sometimes it doesn't work, because you end up applying something that really requires someone who is specialized in a program, and you have done it on a general overview, and they would most probably take the person who is specialized over you. So in the end, it will kind of bring more rejection and all of that. And that's why I'm advising you to take a short break, because when you take that short break, you tend to reflect, you tend to look at what is on the ground, how are you doing things, and how can you change things and all of that. So I would really like to stress on the point that you need to really take a break. So also after you have taken the break, what you can do is really review the application. What could have been better? Did I use the correct font? Did I put unnecessary information? Some recruiters, they come on saying that, oh, we only need 1-page CV, or maybe they need 2 pages, and maybe you could not fit everything on the 2 pages because you were putting things that were unnecessary. Or maybe some of them would actually guide you to the type of CV that you had. And I remember when I was applying for one for one program, they were really adamant about creating your CV on Europass. So if I didn't create my CV on Europass, then the chances of me being rejected were like very, very high. So maybe you could look at it and say, what could have been better? What could you have kind of done better? Some of these admissions and scholarships, probably they would ask you to send a picture of yourself in certain dimensions, and probably during the time you applied you felt like, oh, I could do this with my phone and all of that. I think I've had an issue where I did that, and then the next time I applied, I realized that it doesn't cost much to go to just a photographer and say, you know what, I'm applying for the scholarship and they need this, portrait picture in these dimensions, please help me take the picture. And then you take a professional picture and you submit. Things, those small things like that really would increase your chances of making it to the list of the people who would be awarded either the scholarship or the admission. Why am I saying this? I am saying this to kind of encourage you not to overlook things, and also encourage you to review your application and see what you could have done better. What would you have increased? Would you have enhanced your writing skills? Would you have improved your essays? Would you have improved your documents by seeking feedback from other people who have walked the road, or by seeking feedback from people who are really good mentors in that area? All of those stuff, we overlook them, but they add up to, they really, like when people are evaluating for scholarships, they don't just look at one thing. There is a point system. They look at your CV, they look at if you met all the requirements and you are awarded points. And probably you missed those points by 1 point because you did not follow instructions, or maybe the picture that you submitted was not according to the dimensions required, unlike with the other ones. So that's also one thing that I would really like to encourage you to look at after you have faced some rejection. And then there are things that we kind of really overlook. We overlook them. I think people really overlook those things, but they don't know that those things boost their CVs, boost their applications. People should really, if you are looking forward to studying abroad or an admission somewhere and all of that, I would recommend you to take part into activities like volunteering, leadership roles, internships, online courses. I think I've stressed on free online courses a lot of times here on these platforms. All those things, or even taking an English test. Some program will say an English test is not required, and then you relax and you don't take it. When you apply, then maybe they only need 20 participants for that program, and from the pool of the list of the people who apply, there are 20 people with English test. Do you think they are going to overlook someone who has an English test over you, who didn't even make an extra mile to get that English test? All of those things, they really add up to the chances of you being accepted or admitted to a program. So I really encourage you to really take part in those activities, and you will see how much they would help you in your next applications. And that is one way of reducing the chances of you getting a rejection later when you apply for admissions, for scholarships, or even for jobs. And then one thing that I would really like to encourage you is that you need to keep applying and stay resilient. In as much as it hurts to keep on applying and getting negative reports, stopping doesn't change your situation either. I always tell some people that you would say, I don't think I am still going to apply. I'm tired of applying. Or maybe you tell yourself, I am tired of doing this. I won't be able to do this program and all of that. Remember the time you stop to do that thing, right? The time you stop and you don't do it. If we add 2 years to it, you would still be on the same place you were at the point that you decided, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm not applying anymore. Unlike if you continue applying, applying. If we add 2 years to the time you continue applying, would be probably talking to you whilst you're on the other side. You would have gotten your admission, you would have gotten your offer letter, you would have gotten your scholarship later. So sometimes all it takes is the right timing and the right, opportunity. And the more you increase the sample size of your applications, if you stay applying, there's going to be that 1 year that is going to encourage you to move on to the next level, or that is going to restore your hope that you had lost. I just thought that we could really talk about this period after rejection, and also kind of discuss these things, because most people hide the rejection and all of that, but it is important that we prepare ourselves for this period, because I've seen so many people who stopped working towards their dreams because they only got one rejection letter, and then years later they are always regretting that they could have kept on applying. They would have improved, they would have advanced and all of that stuff. So I really want to encourage you to apply, improve, and keep applying until you win. And I would really like to thank you for watching this video, and I would like to invite you to share your experiences in the comments. Also, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with others, so that we can increase our communities and amplify the message of people applying for programs and scholarships. I would like to thank you and